Alright, welcome to the Model Manager Hexing and Plugin Setup tutorial for those of you who don't know how to read, or those of you too lazy to read. Alright, starting off, everything you need to know is in the OP. I guess people still don't understand it. It is kind of a complex setup, so whatever, I'm not going to judge you. Alright, this tutorial is going to be long. There are lots of things to cover because after watching this tutorial, you should never have another question about Model Manager again, or how to convert models for Model Manager. Alright, so starting off, the first thing you're going to obviously need is the skin you want. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using Super Scout. This is something I made, so don't have to worry about permissions. Regarding permissions, really quick before I start, if it's not your model, not your skin, if you put it on your server and try to make money off it, that's a no-no. That's very bad. You can't do that. Alright? You're going to get in a lot of trouble. You're going to cause internet drama. Don't do it. If it is your skin, feel free to make it generate money for your server, profit, whatever. You can do that. But if it's not yours, it cannot be made to generate profit for your server. Even if it's not going to you, even if it's just to help the server, you can't do it. Alright? If you're not doing that, generally the rule I follow is if the author of the skin leaves a specific note or mentions that, hey, don't put this on your server, generally you need to respect that. Don't put it on your server. If they don't say anything, like if they just release it to the public domain and they don't make any mention about server side stuff, generally I perceive that to be like an okay, you can put this on your server. That may not be what they mean, but if they don't say otherwise, generally I'll still do it. But I never ever do any kind of donator stuff or server store stuff or nothing that generates profit, okay? You just can't do that unless it's your own model. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, you have the skin you want, download it. Again, we're using this one. Okay, so we have this downloaded. I have this downloaded right here. Alright, so we downloaded it, and we have two versions here. You're never going to see a Hex version included. Never, ever. That's just me because I work with Model Manager, and this is my skin. Alright, so pick the version you want if there's multiple versions. TF materials. Okay. This is just a skin override, so there's no model folder. We're going to need a model folder, so first thing you do to start the whole process, just create a new folder like Super Scout server. Alright, extract this, the models and materials, or just materials if there's no models. Alright, so you have all texture files, right? Cool. Alright, so now you need to get the Scout model files if they're not included. And even if they are included, there's a pretty good chance they're out of date. If it's not a custom model, what you do is you go to GCFscape. You should know what this is. If you don't, Google it. It lets you look at all the included TF2 files in the TF2 game cache. So TF models player. Okay, we're gonna get all the default Scout files. Now, if it is a custom model, it's gonna have its own set of model files. You can't replace those, or else it's gonna be totally broken. Generally, the only time you want to actually get models from the cache is if it's like if it's a texture override, or if it's just like the default model is included for some reason. Yeah, but for this we're just gonna use the default Scout files. All right, so gonna replace the paths, models, and then normally it's models player, and then that's where Scout is, but we want to create a new one because we don't want to override the default one. That wouldn't work anyway. You can't push default file names and paths to your clients. Valve doesn't allow that. And even if you could do that, you don't want to do that because you want a brand new unique like model with its own unique file path and stuff. So we're going to do, instead of models player, we're going to do models custom and then player. So now it's in its own path. We have to like point it there, but for now just put the files there. Alright, so we have that. Now what we want to do is you're going to want to open up Mecha's Hexer. You should know what this is. It's in the OP. So there's a link to it in Eraserhead's tutorial. If you don't have it, just Google Mecha the Slag, MDL Hexer, whatever, you'll find it. Okay, so we're going to open up this scout.mdl file. Open her up. Alright, so now you're going to see two tabs here. MDL Reskinner, MDL Relocator. First thing we're going to do is MDL Relocator right here. Alright, you'll see that it's still pointing to the old path from where we got it, which is Models, Player, Scout. Models is not included because it automatically assumes you're working out of the model folder. So you don't have to include models. So what we're going to do, you see our new path up here, Models, Custom Player? We're going to replace it with this. Okay, so Models is left out, Custom, Player, and then name's not changed, so same name, scout.mdl. So save that, overwrite it. Okay, so now the model knows it's in this new path we set it to. It knows this now, so it'll actually load now. Alright, now this is the other part. This is the material part. The model is still trying to load the default scout textures, so we want to have it load these new textures without actually like replacing the textures. For the default model, because you can't do that, remember. You got to have them in the new location. So, alright, let's go to Materials, Models, Player, Scout. Alright, so you can see this is all in default path. The names do not matter, okay? You don't have to change the names. The names can be whatever you want. That's not a reason to change them, but again, it just doesn't matter what they're called because only the file paths matter. So yeah, Materials, Models, Player, Scout. Okay, this isn't the default folder. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is go Materials, and then we're going to do... Oh wait, no, we're staying in the Models folder. Sorry. Materials, Models, and then instead of Player, we're going to do Player Custom. This is what I use, and I know other people use this too. It's what's referenced in Eraserhead's tutorial. So just use this. And then we're going to give it the unique name of our model. So Super Scout 2. Alright. So, let's see. Let's do this first. Okay, so now everything's in the new location it should be in. Just like copy that. You can see, find the ones that need to be replaced. This first one would be, we're looking at VMT files here, not texture files. So the first material that needs to be replaced is Scout Blue. So find Scout Blue right here. Alright, now we don't need to include materials. It automatically assumes we're working out of the materials folder. So just Models, Player Custom, Super Scout, Tutorial, and then Scout Blue. Don't have to include .vmt, no need for that. Alright, so now just do this for all the materials that are being replaced here. So the next one down would be Scout Blue Invun. This is the Uber texture, so find Scout Blue Invun. There we go. Alright, so just continue to do this for all the ones that need to be replaced. Remember, we're only looking at material files here. We're not replacing textures here. These are for materials. Materials and textures are two different things. I'll get to that in a second. Alright. So, no, we need this. Not replacing... Oh, yeah, we are doing the head invens. Okay. Okay, there's two more, I think. Where's the last one? Right here. Okay. These are all in default locations. I know this one has paths and this one doesn't. Doesn't matter. They're still both in the default location. Don't worry about that. Okay, so we're gonna save this. Alright, so now our model is done. It's pointing to the new material location we made. So now what we have to do is actually tell the material files that they are also in this new location. So you're going to open this up, start with the first one, Scout Blue, and you're going to see these two lines up at the top. This is what you need to pay attention to, okay? Base texture is pointing to the old path for just like in the default Scout folder. Same thing with the bump map. Now the bump map, we don't want to change that because this does not come with a new bump map. It uses the default one that's already included with TF2. So we don't want to change the bump map path. But if you have a model or a skin that, well, if you have a skin that uses a custom bump map, then you do want to change it, okay? So, but bump maps are always labeled with _normal. So we don't have anything like that. So don't mess with the bump map. But if you do have a bump map, make sure you don't leave that part out. Alright, so base texture, models, player, scout, scout blue. That's obviously wrong for this new path, so we're going to replace it. Custom. And then super scout. Toot. Alright, so now this is in the new location. Alright, I'm just going to... Careful with your copying here. I'm just going to copy that. Now I'm going to do this for each material file that needs to be replaced. Alright, this is the blue Uber. The blue Uber underneath the Uber effect is the default blue texture. That's what it's at right now. We want to set it so it's using the Super Scout blue texture. So, models, player, scout, right there. The direction of the slashes don't really matter. At least I don't think they do. I always do forward slashes though for consistency. I don't think it matters though. Alright, so save that. Alright, you see this right here, scout hands? This is for view model. My skin has a custom view model. It's not really custom, it's just a recolor, but whatever. You don't need this. There's no need for this. You can't load view models on Model Manager, so just delete that. Make sure you don't leave in any files that aren't needed or aren't being used, because that's just a waste of download time and a waste on your client's hard drive, I guess. It's not that big of a deal, but it's a courtesy, I guess, and it's nice and clean. Okay, so Scout Head Blue Invan, same thing. I really need to fix my slashes, or else my OCD will destroy me from the inside. Okay. Alright. So just replace all of the relevant files here. Oh, you know what? I'm screwing up here. I'm sorry. This is both for Scout Head. Pay attention to this really quick, because I totally just did something wrong. Scout Head, this is pointing to the default Scout, or at least it was before I changed it. Right, this is what it looked like before. Player, mouse player, Scout. Alright, this is what it looked like before, and this is what it should be. Super Scout does not use a custom head, it uses the default Scout head, okay? It only uses custom textures on the body, so you don't want to change this, you just want to leave that how it is. Alright, same for the red head invulnerable texture. So, god freaking. Alright. Okay, so now Scout Red though, this we do want to change. Alright, because this is the body. Just pay attention to what parts of the model are changed and what parts aren't. Okay. You just have to be very meticulous with what you're doing. You just pay attention, or else you're going to make a mistake. Like right now, I'm making mistakes because obviously I'm talking and trying to do a tutorial at the same time. Very distracting. Just be very careful when you're doing this, because if you make just a single typo, can pretty much screw you over. Okay, models, player, custom, Scout 2, Scout Red. Normal's the same. I apologize for my quirkiness at this part, because I'm trying to do this tutorial and do this at the same time. It's difficult. Alright, so yeah, this needs to be a new path, okay. Alright, now when you're done replacing everything, just you have to save it. I'm doing Control S, but you should obviously understand that. Okay, just make sure you check everything before you move on to the next section of this. So, Scout Blue. Yes, this is in the right path. It's Scout Blue with the new path. Just check all of them. Scout Blue, Uber. Yep. Yep, loading default head like we want it to. Default head, okay. New body red, okay. And then this should also be the new body red. Okay, looks good. Yeah, alright. Okay, these should all be good. Now, if you do make a mistake and you don't catch it, it's okay, because we have a way to check it before we do an upload, alright? So, now that this is done, both models and materials are set up. So you're gonna whoops. Skip. Okay, you're gonna copy these, the TF2 client. You're gonna paste them into your TF2 client folder. All right, now you're gonna open up Source SDK and open up Model Viewer. If you don't have Source SDK, you probably should have it. If you're running the server and you don't have Source SDK installed for some reason, I don't know why you would do that. It's just very useful. Anyway, for those of you who don't know how to find it, Dark Souls is hard, and you're gonna go to Tools, and up here, up at the top. Well, it's not gonna be at the top unless you have it in Favorites. It's just called Source SDK. You're gonna play this. It's not really a game, but whatever. I'm gonna launch this up. Man, I have a cold. I must sound like crap. Alright, so Source SDK, Model Viewer. You're gonna open up Model Viewer now. Alright, you don't need this anymore. You can close that. Alright, so now that we've pasted in our thing, we're gonna go to Load Model, Custom, Player. This is the new location we set. And, ooh. Did I make a mistake? Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh man, I totally forgot to change that. Again. I had to redo this part of the tutorial because I forgot to do this. Again, I did it. Jeez. Alright, whatever. Okay. Let me show you really quick what I did here. Crap. Yeah, I forgot to make a custom folder here. It should be Super Scout 2. Throw this in here. Yeah, don't put it in the player folder. Give it its own custom folder. Again, this is for models. This is the model section. Let me fix the path. Alright, so custom player Super Scout 2 Scout.mdl. Alright. Make sure you didn't make any typos. Alright. Save. Okay, now we have this how it's supposed to be. Copy. TF2 client. Yes. Okay. Alright, so load model. Custom. Player. And now you should have the one we set up. Super Scout 2. Scout.mdl. Here he is. Alright. This is not the default Scout with default texture paths. This is the new one you made. Now, pay attention to where my cursor is. Woo, right here. Okay. Normal mapping. Turn this on and look at your model. Look at your model. Alright. You don't see any problems? Good. That means your bump maps are right. Okay. Scroll through here. Look around here. If you don't see any errors through here, that means everything is incorrect paths. It's encountering all of the files it needs. It's not running into any errors or broken paths. Alright. The skin drop down over here. Go through all your skins, make sure they all look right. So red, blue, red uber, blue uber, zombie red, zombie blue, a zombie red uber, zombie blue uber. Okay, ubers on zombies look a little weird. I think it's a Valve problem. It's not you, it's Valve. Don't worry about that. Okay. Oh, regarding zombies, this is kind of a new thing. Most older skins and custom models do not include zombie support. So when you're editing the default model like we did earlier when we took it out of the cache, just don't mess with the zombie part, and generally it'll load the zombies like it's supposed to. So don't replace any of the zombie files unless it's a custom model with custom zombie files. Okay, so everything's correct. We don't have any problems. Skin loads correctly. That means everything with file paths is set up. So now we're ready to upload it to the server. So this is like, I don't know, part 2 or whatever. I don't know. Okay. This is the old models. I don't need that. Alright, now, now that you have your model hexed and everything is working, the paths are correct and stuff, what we're going to do is we're going to separate this now. We're going to create a new folder, server, and stick models and materials in here. So now we're going to copy this. Actually, no, don't do that first. First, we're going to make our dep file. Alright, so to create a dep file, what a dep file is it's something that Model Manager looks at to see where all the files are that need to be downloaded. If you use the Sourcemod downloader precacher, it's kind of like that, except that this is just for Model Manager stuff. So we're going to create a new text document. It's going to be called scout.mdl, and then we're going to open this up. Yeah, open this up and just type blah, 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 I don't know, and then save as, and we're gonna go down to all files, wherever, all types up here, and we're gonna save it as a .dep file. So save that. Alright, you now have a DEP file. You can delete the old text file. Actually, you should do that. You don't want that. Alright, so there you go. It's named Scout. It should be named scout.mdl. Remember, scout.mdl is the name, not the format. The format is DEP. Okay, don't mess that up or else it's not going to work. So if you go into properties, the name, scout.mdl, and then the type of file, DEP. Alright, cool. So we're going to open this up. Get rid of that crap. Alright. There is a... Okay, first we're going to take our path for our models, because you want to list all the models and then you want to list all the materials. So you get your path, starting with models. Now in this case, models and materials aren't cut off. It doesn't know you're working out of the directory, so you have to include models and materials. So starting with model files, we'll do models, custom player, super scout 2. Okay, put that up there, press enter. Alright, now all these files, there's a program mentioned in Eraserhead's tutorial called copy file names. You can do it manually, but you don't want to do that, because if you don't use this program, you're going to make a typo somewhere unless you're super careful, and it's just way easier to use this program. So get copy file names, paste them in, and then just like go through each of them and put the path in front of all of them. Be careful not to make any typos or mistakes anywhere. Now, see the dep file? You don't need to include the dep file, so delete the dep file, okay? So, there you go. You have the models done. Now you want to do the same thing for materials. So, materials, models, blah, 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 blah. Copy that. Again, we need the materials specified. So, materials, models, player, custom, Super Scout tutorial, / Alright. I'm going to leave that up there. Do the same thing we did before. Copy file names. Alright. Put your path in front of all of them. Alright. Okay, so these are all the files needed for this skin to work. So, models, custom player... yeah, okay, this is good. This is everything you need. Again, use copy file names or else you're going to make a typo somewhere and it's going to mess it up. So if you misspell something here, like if I didn't have a Y here, it wouldn't download this file, and then that would cause problems. Generally, if you do make a mistake, you can always go back to the dep file and you can update it. Like say the Scout Red texture didn't download because I forgot the F at the end. Well, your players would get all the models and material files they need except for Scout Red. So you can just go in the dep file on your upload, put in the correct name, save it again, re-upload it, and then refresh the Model Manager plugin, and then it will download that file to your client. So you don't have to worry about it if you make a mistake. Now what you do have to worry about is if you have a problem with your texture. Like if you need to change something on the texture, then you'd have to change the paths. That wouldn't be good. So make sure you get all that right the first time. Alright, so back to models. By the way, the dep file has to be in the model section, not the material section. So you have all this done. Excuse me, I have a cold. I'm pretty sure you noticed that. Who is at my door? Oh well, whatever. Alright. You're going to create a fast download folder now. It's just a copy of server. So copy models, materials, fast download, and paste that in there. Now what we're doing different in fast download is everything is going to be it's going to be zipped up in B2Z format. The quick way to do this is to use a batch file that most of you probably don't have. So I have this batch file here. I'll put a link to it in the description. That sounds so YouTube right now. Okay. You're gonna drag everything into the batch file, run it, except for the depth file. You don't want to change the depth file. So don't do it all at once because you don't want to include the depth file. Alright, get that out of there. Materials, models, player, custom, super scout. Nah. Alright, same thing for materials. Drag them all into the batch B2Z, or BZ2, whatever. Delete the old ones. Delete the batch. Okay, so now you have all your stuff zipped up for fast download on source. Cool. Alright, so now you're going to open up your FileZilla client or whatever FTP client you use. We're almost done here. This is the very end. You're going to go to your TF2 server, wherever it's located. If you host off your own machine, you should know what the equivalent of this is. So, your server files, orange box, TF, server, materials, models, drag and drop. Okay, I'm not actually going to do that because I don't need to, but you should. You totally should do that. Alright, so then when you got the server files on your server, now you want to go to your fast download server. This is my fast download server. And for the fast download, you want to put the fast download on the fast download server. If you don't know what a fast download server is, I cannot help you with this because this is rudimentary server source stuff. You should know this. So fast download goes on fast download, server goes on server. Okay, you should understand what that means. Alright, so there's only one step left once everything is uploaded. And I shouldn't have closed FileZilla. Alright, so I'm assuming you already have the plugin installed. Okay, so the only other thing you need to do, configs, TF2 model manager, item list. I apologize for my name right there. TF2 item list. Alright, so I have a crap ton of stuff. Let me delete all this as an example. Woo! Okay. Open bracket, close bracket. Alright, so actually, hold on a sec. I'm gonna copy this. Alright. So, starting off, we're gonna use this as our start file, the robot spy. Alright, the one we just uploaded is a scout skin, so we're gonna change this to Super Scout, and then the model we're gonna specify where it's located, so it's gonna be in models, custom, player. That's not how you spell player. Player, models, custom player, Super Scout, the 2 there, and then of course scout.mdl. Class, this is only a scout skin, so you only want to specify it as a scout. It works on both teams, so you want to keep that the same. Alright, now other flags, let me cover this really quick. Remove valve. Okay, let me show you how flags work. I say so freaking much. Flags. I think everybody does whatever. Flags. Okay, so flags, like, okay, if we put remove valve here, this would hide all hats and miscellaneous items. Flags are separated by one space, so if we wanted to do another one like hidden, this would be remove valve and hidden. That means no hats work on the model, and it's not in the list, which means you have to get it from a console command. If you did admin default, it would mean If you put an admin default, it means that no. It means that it's the default model starting point for admins. Like if the admin becomes a scout, they'll automatically get this model. Admin only, on the other hand, means that only admins can select it. That's good for, like, I don't know, if you want to turn yourself into a balloonicorn or something. You don't want people to be able to select that. Hide weapons does not work yet. Sarge is working on that. I need to stop saying that. But yeah, you get it. You can read the thread if you need to know anymore. And then of course there's Steam ID. If you only want a certain Steam ID to access it for some reason, you can just do like Steam ID and then 1111 whatever their Steam ID is, whatever. But okay, but for the purposes of this tutorial, this is how it needs to be set up. This is done. Save that. Re-upload it back to the server. I'm not going to actually do that. So upload it to your server. If the plugin's already running, just TF models reload. That's the CVAR we use. If you're not in the console, just do it from Archon, whatever. Okay, you should know that. That's it. Yeah. Holy crap, this was a long tutorial.